A house is shown at the beginning of the movie. There a woman named Margaret is in a lot of trouble because she is giving birth to a child, but after giving birth she tries to kill the child, but she controls herself when she sees her child. And she named her Carrie. Many years pass and Carrie is seen there. She was playing on the volleyball ground and the rest of her friends were misbehaving with her. Carrie walks away. Then the scene shifts and we see Carrie in the bathroom. Suddenly Carrie's body started bleeding. She gets very scared and starts to come out of the bathroom asking everyone for help, but her friends start laughing at her instead of helping her. Actually Carrie had her period, but Carrie had no idea about this period, because her mother never told her anything about this. At that time, a girl named Chris started making videos of Carrie on her mobile phone, due to which everyone in the school group knows the whole incident. Then their gym trainer Miss Rita comes there and chases everyone away and helps Carrie. Carrie is then taken to the principal's office where the principal contacts her mother, which worries her even more. At that time, a nearby water cooler burst. Then Carrie's mother comes home with her. But Carrie didn't want to get out of the car. She sat quietly in the car for a while. At that time, a kid started calling Carrie, "Crazy Carrie," from outside the car. Carrie glares at the kid and suddenly the kid is too far off the cycle, due to which the child ran away from there in fear. She then returns home to find her mother Margaret banging her head against the wall. She asks Margaret why her mother never told her about the menstrual problem. But Margaret considers it a sin and kills Carrie and locks her in a room to pray to God. Carrie screams loudly and asks for the door to be opened. When Carrie gets angry, there is a sudden crack in the door. After seeing that, Carrie and her mother were very surprised. Then the scene shifts and we see Sue and her boyfriend. Sue tells her boyfriend Tommy that I was also involved in the torture the others did with Carrie. And she tells his Tommy about his crime. Tommy calms him down and asks Sue to apologize to Carrie. But on the other hand, Chris uploads Carrie's video on social media to give more trouble to Carrie. The next day Miss Rita tells all the students during her class that what happened to Carrie yesterday was very bad, because of which Miss Rita gave them a hard exercise. That was their punishment. She also says that if one does not complete this punishment she will not be able to come to the school prom. Now Chris thinks that she has no crime and says he can't accept this punishment. She also says that a gym teacher can't do anything to them. And she tries to convince everyone to join her team, but no one listens to Chris. Seeing this attitude of Chris, Miss Rita suspended her. Chris asks Sue to accompany her, but Sue realizes she made a mistake, so she does not agree to accompany Chris. Then Carrie comes to school and we see everyone laughing at Carrie. Carrie is very hurt and angry. She goes to the bathroom and looks at the mirror with anger, and suddenly the glass breaks. From this she first feels that he has a special power. After she learns about this power, she goes to the library and researches about telepathic powers and realizes that she can control objects with her psychic powers. The next day in English class, when her teacher wants Carrie's poem sung, Carrie then recites her poem. But when the poem is over, the teacher and the rest of the students start laughing at her again, which makes Tommy angry with the teacher and praises Carrie's poem. Then the scene shifts and we see Chris brings her father to the principal, and Chris's father asks the principal to withdraw Chris's suspension and continues to bully him. Miss Rita then says that someone uploaded a video of Carrie's bathroom to YouTube and she thinks Chris did it, because of which Miss Rita asked to check Chris's phone. Chris's father asks to see her phone. Chris refuses and leaves. Chris then walks up to Sue and starts talking bad to her. She says that Sue doesn't feel bad for Carrie, but that she wants to go to prom with Tommy, so Sue didn't accompany Chris that day. We then see Carrie fully aware of her secret powers and being able to control everything with her mind. Next we look at Sue. She meets Tommy and feels bad for Tommy, and she tells Tommy that she wants to do something good for him. Sue remembers that when Carrie was reciting a poem in class, Tommy supported Carrie and was attracted to her. Because of which Sue tells Tommy that she won't be going to the school prom. She asks Carrie to take her instead. At first Tommy doesn't agree because she thinks Sue might be joking. But Tommy agrees to Sue's many requests. After that, Tommy offers to go to Carrie for school prom. But Carrie thinks it's a complete prank and leaves without answering Tommy. After that Carrie suffers a lot. And later Miss Rita comes and convinces Carrie and asks her to go to the prom. Tommy then moves to Carrie's house after not getting any response from Carrie. But Carrie stops him outside, where after much pleading Carrie agrees to go to the prom with him. As a result, Carrie is very happy and goes out for shopping. Seeing Carrie shopping, Chris realizes that Carrie is going to prom. At night, Carrie arrives home and tells Margaret about going to the prom, but Margaret tells her not to go out and stops her. Carrie tries to convince her mother, but she doesn't listen and tells her to go back into the room and pray to God. Because of which Carrie exerts her power on her mother. As a result, her mother found out about Carrie's power. Margaret thinks that this power was given to her by the devil. Because of which Margaret starts calling her a witch. On the other hand, we see Chris and her boyfriend who are ready to take revenge from Carrie. And with some friends he goes to the pig farm and kills a pig there. Taking her blood, Chris and her boyfriend enters the prom room and pours the blood into a bucket and ties it with a rope so that when the time is right, they can pour the blood in the bucket on Carrie. Now finally the day comes and Carrie makes her own dress and she is very excited to go to the prom. Then when Tommy shows up at her house to take Carrie to the prom, Margaret tries to stop her, but Carrie uses her powers to stop her and lock her in a room. Tommy and Carrie then arrive at the prom. Tommy behaves very well with Carrie and they dance together. On the other hand, Chris and her boyfriend go to the prom room with the help of her friend, and their two friends change the result of prom king and queen. Which makes Tommy and Carrie prom king and prom queen. Then Chris messages Sue and asks her to come to the prom. Which causes Sue to rush to the prom as she realizes something bad is about to happen. After the result, Carrie and Tommy went to the stage and Sue came there. And saw the bucket hanging over Carrie. As she goes to save Carrie, Miss Rita sees Sue and kicks her out. Chris then pulls the rope of the bucket and the blood falls on Carrie, causing everyone to laugh at Carrie again. Carrie gets very angry and Chris plays her bathroom video on TV. At that time, for some reason, the bucket falls on Tommy's head and Tommy dies there. Then Chris and Chris's boyfriend started sailing from there. At that time, Carrie looks up and sees Chris' boyfriend's sunglasses, which makes her realize who did this. She gets very angry and gets out of control and starts using his powers. All the people are very scared of her power and try to get out, but Carrie starts killing everyone one by one with her power. The entire prom caught fire. And everyone dies. When Miss Rita tries to stop Carrie, Carrie knocks her out and throws down an electrical wire, killing some of the survivors. It is then seen that some of the students have managed to get out, and when Carrie comes out she sees Chris and her boyfriend. They were fleeing from there by car. Carrie then follows them and tries to kill him using her powers. That's when Chris and her boyfriend, Carrie, decide to drive over. But when the car comes in front of Carrie, Carrie stops the car, causing Chris' boyfriend to die. Chris then tries to escape, but Carrie crashes the car into a petrol pump. And there was a fire that killed Chris. Carrie then reaches home and goes in front of the room where she kept her mother. She does not find her mother there. She sees her mother after taking bath and goes to her and shares all the incident. But Margaret tells her that she should have killed Carrie long ago. Margaret then tells Carrie that Carrie's father and herself consider sexual intercourse a sin. But one day Carrie's father drugged and raped Margaret, for which Carrie was born. Saying all this, Margaret straps Carrie with a knife. Then Carrie uses her power to kill her own mother. Then Sue arrives and Carrie realizes that Sue is pregnant. Carrie then kicks Sue out and destroys the whole house with her own power. As a result, Carrie died there with her mother. Then the scene shifts and we see Sue visiting Carrie's grave. At that time, he started having a lot of pain in his stomach. And she is seen at the hospital. She was screaming in pain, and that's when a hand came out from inside his stomach and grabbed Sue's hand. Sue then fell asleep, and she started shouting very loudly. It means it was his nightmare. In fact, Sue still hasn't forgotten about that prom night, which is why she still dreads the thought of that day. Then the movie ends here. So guys, if you like this video, then please click the like button and subscribe this channel to get more explanations of your favorite movies.